Finally, I'd like to welcome a dynamic woman to the stage, Shari Leid. She's doing so much cool stuff. I can't mention it all, but she's an author, a speaker, a podcaster, and the owner of An Imperfectly Perfect Life. And she is also a breast cancer survivor. She joined us today to share a little bit about her cancer journey, her decision to come to Fred Hutch, and what sustained her through the experience. So please join me in giving Shari a warm welcome.
Thank you. Wow. Okay, well, my story began in August 2017. That summer, I remember, man, the heat was lingering like the last inning of the endless baseball game. It was that time I went to my primary care physician for a nagging ankle injury. At the end of that brief appointment, my doctor said, "Hey, you're due for your annual exam next month." And I happened to have a little extra time. Little did I know that impromptu exam would change my life. My doctor found a small lump on my left breast. Whew, my world tilted like a baseball veering off course. The next days that followed were filled with uncertainty and anxiety. This was the beginning of a journey, a very emotional and mentally challenging diagnostic journey. I always thought that when cancer was suspected, things would happen quickly. Little did I know that the diagnostic process could feel slow and arduous, like running the bases in slow motion, not sure whether or not you're going to make it home. My diagnostic process began with a diagnostic mammogram, which was far more comprehensive than my annual mammograms. Next, a needle biopsy, which frustratingly came back inconclusive. Finally, a surgical biopsy. And I think about that surgery every day because I still see the scar every morning and night, reminding me of that very tumultuous time in my life. This all led me to October 4th, 2017, a day that stands out vividly in my mind. It was the day that I got a phone call that literally dropped me to my knees. I was 47 years old, physically fit, a mom to 2 teenagers, and I had cancer. While I thought the diagnostic process was slow, it felt like the next steps were coming at me at full speed. I needed to find a breast surgeon, an oncologist, a radiologist, a breast reconstructive surgeon to consult with, 4 specialists to consult with, establish a relationship with, coordinate care. All of this while I was trying to learn about my disease. How could I know so little about breast cancer when it affects 1 in 8 women in the US? Trying to find providers, coordinate my care, it felt impossible when I didn't understand the disease, my treatment options, or even the specialist roles. And remember, I still had 2 teenagers at home. I still had life to manage. There's no pause button for life. I was overwhelmed. I knew I needed a team. I needed help. I needed Fred Hutch Cancer Center. I picked up the phone and I called Fred Hutch, and from that initial phone call, I felt a sense of companionship and assurance. Their team approach promised to envelop me in a network of support and expertise. It felt like I was stepping into a baseball team where every player knew their role and how to support one another. I learned that my first appointment would be a full day long, dedicated to me. I was both relieved and surprised. I could not believe some of the top doctors in the nation were dedicating a full day to me. No longer would I sit in waiting rooms for hours for a rushed appointment with just one provider. Instead, I would have my full care team spending that day with me. During that comprehensive first appointment, I could ask all the questions I wanted to. I could raise any concern. And I learned that my team and my original team consisted of an oncologist, a breast surgeon, and a radiologist. They were actually going to meet as a team before meeting with me. I no longer had to coordinate my care or update everyone. I was no longer the scout looking for my players or the coach trying to place my players. Instead, I was simply the patient focused on my healing while my team focused on my care. From my first call, Kathy, my nurse coordinator, she started coordinating everything. Her constant guidance and coordination made this overwhelming process suddenly feel manageable. I was assured that through this process, she was going to be there all the way. She was part of my team. And with that, I gained a sense of confidence. I knew I could do this. I could move forward. After hanging up that phone call, I cried. I was no longer alone. I had a team. And not just any team, some of the top doctors in the nation. I was on the all-star team. January 2018. Bear with me, it's hard for me to talk about this because I think about it every day because I see my body. It was a month after my 48th birthday, and I underwent a double mastectomy. Like I said, not a day goes by that I don't think about this. And not a day goes by that I don't think of Fred Hutch as being part of my team. My ongoing care, which started at 3 months, then 6 months, and that is now yearly, means that I still have a team. February 2023, just over a year ago, my oncologist, Dr. William Gwynn, who's here, who I now think of more as a trusted friend, said the words that I'd been waiting to hear. He said, "Congratulations, you made it. 5 years, no evidence of disease." At that point, I realized I'd been holding my breath for 5 years, and I finally exhaled. And it's not just the doctors and nurses that form the team at Fred Hutch. I also consider the researchers with the cutting-edge research as part of the team. I think of the researchers as game strategy planners, constantly studying the moves of the opposing team, cancer. And I consider everyone in this room as part of my team. You know, we're all here for one purpose, and that's because Fred Hutch not only changes lives, it saves lives. They save lives. And I consider every one of you in this room one of my lifesavers. In the 6 years since I walked into the doors at Fred Hutch, I have truly enjoyed my life. I've seen my kids get their driver's licenses, watched them graduate from high school, helped them move into college, adopted 2 dogs, started a new career, volunteered at local nonprofits, traveled to all 50 states, celebrated my 50th birthday with an 80s themed prom, my first prom ever. And just last month, I saw my son, who's here, Shari Leid, graduate from college. In fact, next week, I will travel with him to New York to help him set up his first apartment. He received his first post-undergrad job, incidentally, in oncology. So yes, I have truly lived and truly loved my life in the last 6 years. And in Helen Keller's words, alone, we could do so little. Together, we could do so much. And this isn't just a sentiment. This is the spirit of Fred Hutch. This is a spirit that brought me here. This is the spirit that will continue to move us forward to a place where cancer is no longer a path of uncertainty and fear, but one of hope. And I thank all of you for your continued support, your belief in the work of Fred Hutch, your belief in a world where cancer is no longer a threat, because together we can do the extraordinary. Thank you so much for being a part of my team.